What's going on, everybody? My name is Dwayne, and welcome to this week's episode of Developing Apex Brands. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Developing Apex Brands, here with your boy, Dwayne, coming to you live from the Edit Bay. So on this week's episode, man, we're going to be doing a tutorial. We're going to be talking about Adobe Premiere Pro. We're going to be doing a basic walkthrough of the program and showing you guys some of the different spaces within inside the program and how you can navigate and use that to create video for yourself. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. I'm going to put my screen on the big screen and put myself small in the bottom left corner. Okay. So as you can see, when you first open your Premiere Pro, this is the first thing that you're going to see, okay? You're going to see, your open area. You're going to see new projects. Obviously, if you want to create a new project, you have open project for any previous projects that have been open. And then you'll have your most recent projects here in the bottom. It's going to show you the name of the project and the last time you opened it as well. Some more information over here, which isn't really that important. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a new project. So as you can see in this environment here, you're going to have a couple different areas. You're going to have your project name. You can also have your project location here. I suggest you use it in this section up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this test video. And we're going to save this onto our desktop. Okay. So we'll just save it right here. So as you can see, you have your project location at the top, you have your project name. And in this area here, you can see some of the projects or the actual location of the videos that you may want to pull into your video. Sometimes people like to pull them in. I usually like to pull them in from outside in an actual finder or a window. So we'll come back to that in a second. So first thing we're going to do is, once you're satisfied with your project name and your file location, some people like to mess with your import settings. I'm not going to really concern myself too much with that at this moment. So let's go on ahead and create our new project file. So as you can see in this environment, this is going to be our editing workspace, right? So our editing workspace is going to consist of 4 different boxes, right? Our bottom box here is going to be our clip area. As you can see, I'll go ahead and pull up some different clips so everybody can kind of see what I'm looking at here. So I'll drag these into my clip area. So as you can see, I've drug in 4 different clips into our area. And this is going to be the area where you can actually, keep your file stored inside your actual Adobe Premiere Pro environment. It's going to show you the name of the file, the frame rate, and some more information over here that may be important to you. But we're not going to get too much into depth with that right at this moment. Now, the box above where you leave your clips at, this is going to be your viewing area for individual clips. So if I go down here to this bottom box and I click on this twice, it's going to open up what this clip is that I just clicked on down here. So as you can see, this clip here is now visible in this box here. If I were to click the start or the space bar, it will actually, run and show me what's going on here. The good thing about this area is you can set in and out points. So if you wanted to do a specific edit with inside of this video and you didn't want to bring it all the way in, I can hit I on my keyboard. And as you can see, it created this, this opaque white, bar here. Let's say I want to just get up to here. I'll hit O on my keyboard. And now that opaque bar is going to be from the beginning where I pushed I to the end where I push O. And so if I were to drag this clip into my timeline, the only portion of this clip that will be visible within my timeline will be what's inside of this bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is show you the other box here, which is your timeline box. So again, in this box is where you'll be storing your clips. If you click on a clip, it'll show you the clip up here in this box. And now when I'm ready to edit, what I can do is I can do one of two things. I can drag my clip into this timeline area, or I can drag it down here to this this sticky note, which is basically opening up a new sequence. So boom, we have opened and created a new sequence, right? As you can see here, this is the name of our sequence. If we want to change the name of our sequence, we can also do that. So I'm going to change this to test video project. All right, and as you can see, it also changed the name of our sequence here. So now we have a sequence that's called test video project in our timeline box. And as you can see at the top, this is going to be the box that's going to show the preview for our final edit, what our actual video would look like if we were to actually export it at the current moment. So again, 4 boxes in your environment, your editing environment. You have your actual area where you hold your clips. When you click on a clip, it'll come up into this area where then you can, review it. You can set in and out points. And then once you're ready, you can drag it over here into your timeline. Your timeline is going to be your editing environment where you put your clips together. And then your final product is going to be shown in this viewing area up in your top right corner. So that's your editing workspace. Pretty simple, cut, dry, and forward. You have other workspaces that you can work in. So if you go up into your top right corner, if you click on this button here that says workspaces, you'll be able to see a drop down menu of all the different workspaces that you can, manipulate for your video. Now, me personally, I tend to only really use 4 of these environments. Those being editing, the editing workspace, the color workspace, the effects workspace, and the audio workspace. So since we've gone through the editing workspace so far, we're going to go down the line and go into our color environment. So now that I've clicked on color, you can see here we have a few different boxes here. We have our lumetri scope, which is basically going to show us bandwidths of light. And the good thing about this is it helps us to keep our color grading within a certain parameter. You don't want to peak out your colors at the top or bottom end. So it's good to kind of keep, your editing lumetri scopes within this area here. Can go a little bit more in depth, but that's just the basic mindset that you want to have when going in to looking at something like this. Obviously, you're still going to see your clips here in this environment. This is still your editing environment. This is still your preview environment. But the thing that's going to be different over here is going to be your actual color manipulation area. So if I click on my clip here, as you can see, you're going to have your basic correction for your color. So, you have everything from exposure, where you can, turn your exposure up, add some more light. You can add more contrast to your video, take the contrast away, highlight, shadow, so on and so forth. So different things that you can do here, to add brightness to your video, maybe to take certain colors away, maybe to add more pop to your video. This is the environment where you'll be manipulating your actual color. If we move on to our next workstation, we're going to be moving to our effects workstation. The effects workstation is good for a couple things. The biggest being, in my opinion, this is really good for video transitions. So I'll show you guys an example of that. So I have one clip already in here. Let me go ahead and drag the second clip in and put that towards the end. So now when you see here, I'm at the end of the clip. If I hit spacebar, there's kind of like you can see the visible, break between the two clips. Here's one clip and a break on the other one, right? So a good thing for the effects panel, we can go into our dissolves here and we can do a cross dissolve on our video. So now, as you can see, it's a more smooth transition between the videos, right? Also, what we can do here, we can also, manipulate the sound. So if something is a little too loud, or let's say we want to give ourselves some leeway, or that we'll go towards the end. So let's say towards the end of this video, I want my voice to pan out. So I can go to my audio transitions, crossfades, and my exponential fade. You can put an exponential fade on here, and now you can hear the audio will start to fade off at the end. All right. A couple different things that you can do in this environment. You can also go into your essential graphics tab. Essential graphics are going to be different graphics that you can add in here. A lot of these that I have on here, I actually got from a company called Envato Elements. If you are interested in probably, using this software, I have an affiliate link that you guys can click on at the bottom and, sign up and use some of these same things that I have. But, if you look here, something like a transition like this, I'll show you guys. If you saw that explosion, different little things that you can put on here. You can also put in different titles. So I'll show you guys those as well. I use it a lot for, YouTube, social media, different things like that to add motion graphics to your video. And I'll make this a little bit smaller just so you guys can see it. Set to frame size. Perfect. So now as you can see, you can add different motion graphics into your videos to add a little bit more flair. Another thing that you guys can do under the essential graphics, let's say you want to add some text. So I'm going to add testing. All right. This is the area where you can manipulate your actual text. So if I were to come in here, you can make the text bigger. You can make the text smaller. You can, center the text. Depending on how you want it, you can change the font type. So I can go up here and change this to a different font. You can also change the color of the font and do a lot of different things, to manipulate your project, right? So awesome. So as you can see, you can definitely add different text and things of that nature. Trying to see if there's anything else that we can do in our workspace environment there. You can also work with the essential sound, but this will also be in your sound or your audio workspace, which we will get to in a moment. So let's go on ahead and go down to our audio workspace. So now our audio workspace obviously is where we're going to be working with our sound. The good thing about this environment is you can work with your sound based on the type of sound you have. So if you have music, you can choose music. If it's dialogue, like a podcast or a documentary, you can choose dialogue. If you're filming, a concert or something, you can use ambient noise, and so on and so forth. So you can choose the type of audio that you have. You can also go in here and clear it up by auto matching to make sure that you add peaks on it. You can also, EQ it out, add some reverb, other different things that you can add, into your sound environment. Another cool thing about the audio workspace is that you can add peak perimeters and sound limiters on your audio. So as you can see, this audio is very hot, guys. It's really loud. So let's say I wanted to bring this audio down. What I can do is I can go up here into my audio track mixer. I can go to my amplitude and compression. I can go to dynamics. And under dynamics, I can turn on my limiter and turn my threshold down. Let's go ahead and make that a -6, just so we can have some good clearance room. And now, as you can see, down here in this area, my sound will never get louder than -6 decibels, so that I can have some nice, clean, consistent audio.
In order to run a successful clothing line.
Perfect. And so now there you have it, guys. That is a basic tutorial of exploring the work environment of Premiere Pro. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten too in depth, but with this basic information that I've just given you guys, you'll definitely be able to, with a little bit more information, a little bit more practice, and a little bit more know-how, be able to use your creativity to make some amazing quality videos. All right. So now let's say you're ready to export your video. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you're satisfied with everything. Go ahead and review it. You can see everything in your top box here. when you're ready to export, the first thing you're going to want to do is push Shift and I to bring you to the very beginning of your project. And if you can see, if I click here, I'm in the middle, I'll push Shift I, it'll bring me to the beginning of my project. What I want to do is set an endpoint to let the program know where I want the program to start recording when I export. So I'll go ahead and hit the I. And as you can see, this opaque whiteness has come into this environment to show you that this is going to be our endpoint, the same way that it was done up here. Now that we've set an endpoint, we're going to press we're going to press Shift and O. Shift O will take us to the end of the project. As you can see, we'll try it again. I'll click in the middle, Shift O takes us to the end of the project. Whenever you're ready, hit O on your keyboard and that'll set your out point. So now you can see this gray opaque area, or opaque white bar here is at the beginning and at the end of our project. This lets us know and lets the program know this is the beginning and the end of where you want your project to be exported. So once you have everything set for your in and out points, you can either press Command M on your keyboard, or you can press the Export tab at the top left corner of your Premiere Pro environment. So I'm going to go ahead and click the button. Now we're ready to export. You're going to see a couple different things here. You're going to see your source, which is going to be the actual sequence clip that you were using whenever you were editing in your timeline. This is going to show you what type of export you want to make. I always tend to use media files since it's a lot more control for you in your export environment. You can choose YouTube or any of these other things. It may, adjust the frame size. It may go from a 1920 1080 maybe to 1080 to give you, your social media square look, but I always tend to go out of the media file. So the things you're going to be aware of is your file name and your file location. If you click on your file location, this will show you where your file is going to be saved. So I'm going to want to save this in the same location that I created my Premiere Pro project with. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the desktop and save it as test video project. The preset here, typically I always leave it at match source, leaving it at an adaptive high bit rate. Now, the longer your video gets, if you leave it on adaptive high bit rate, it may take a lot longer. If I'm getting into some of the longer podcasts or some of the vlogs that I've been doing for traveling that get above the 30-40 minute mark, then I may drop down to the adaptive medium bit rate to give myself a little bit more leeway in that export and bring some of that export time down a little bit. But since this is such a small export, we'll leave it at a adaptive high bit rate. Your format, obviously you can choose whichever one you want, although I highly suggest that you use the H.264 codec, which is going to be your standard export, and the high quality Apple Res. So I'll use that H.264. You can also go down here into your video. You're gonna have some more important things that you can work on. You can match your source, and that's gonna be for your frame rate. So I believe the frame rate here was 29.97 or 30 frames per second. So that will match my my frame rate, so I don't have any weird laggy things going on my export. And then there's some more things down here that you can manipulate. Your bitrate encoder. That's not something that we'll want to play with in this kind of tutorial, but just be aware that it is there. So now that you've made sure everything is correct, you've edited properly, you feel that your video is set the way you want, you set your in and out points, you've named your file, and you properly put the file in the location where you want it to be. You have one of two options that you can take. You can either export it with inside the program, which is fine. Definitely no problem with doing that. Although I highly suggest that you download the media encoder from Adobe Creative Cloud, which will make your life a lot easier. Not only does it tend to work a little bit faster than exporting inside of the Premiere Pro environment, but it also gives you the ability to also continue to work on any other projects that you may need to be working on as that is exporting the video. If you export inside of the Premiere Pro, you will be stuck right on that download bar until it's done. So to give yourself more room and to get it done a little bit faster, let's go ahead and click on Send to Media Encoder. All right, so as you can see, it's gonna go ahead and open up your media encoder, and we'll give that an opportunity to do its thing. All right, and now you can see we're in the media encoder. Pretty much the only thing that you're going to want to have to worry about is your project here in this box. This is going to be your queue, so it'll show you all of the things that are standing in line waiting to be exported from the program. So since we only have one project, we're going to just have our one test project ready here. But if we had multiple projects, like if we were doing smaller clips for social media, or anything that will require for us to do multiple exports at the same time, you would see a list of them here. Now you still have the ability to change any of the information that you want in case you change your mind after exporting it. But once you're completely clear and confident that you have everything the way you want it, all you need to do is go up here to this top right corner where you see this green start button and click the start button. All right, everybody, and there you have it. Basic Premiere Pro tutorial for Adobe. I know it wasn't long, I know it wasn't super in depth, but with that information alone, you'll definitely be able to take that, build upon that, and be able to make some pretty amazing content for yourself. If you like this tutorial and are looking for more information on how to work within the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, I have a lot more videos coming. So if you want to be a part of that, please make sure that you like this video. Please make sure that you subscribe to the page. Please make sure you turn on that bell for notifications. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or videos that you would like for me to do, please comment those below in the comment section. Again, thank you for coming to this week's episode of Developing Apex Brands.